Let me ask you about identity. We talked about the avatar. How do you see identity in the metaverse? Should the avatar be tied to your identity, or can I be anything in the metaverse? Like, can I be whatever the heck I want? Can I even be a troll? So there's exciting, freeing possibilities, and there's the darker possibilities too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's going to be a range, right? So we're working on, for expression and avatars, um, on one end of the spectrum are kind of expressive and cartoonish avatars. And then on the other end of the spectrum are photorealistic avatars. And I just think the reality is that there are going to be different use cases for different things. And I guess there's another axis. So if you're going from photorealistic to expressive, there's also like representing you directly versus like some fantasy identity. And I think that there are going to be things on all ends of that spectrum too, right? So you'll want photo, like in some experience you might want to be like a photorealistic dragon, right? Or if I'm playing Onward, or which is this military simulator game, it's I think getting to be more photorealistic as a soldier in that could enhance the experience. There are times when I'm hanging out with friends where I want them to, know it's me. So a kind of cartoonish or expressive version of me is good. But there are also experiences like, VR chat does this well today, where a lot of the experience is kind of dressing up and wearing a fantastical avatar that's almost like a meme or is humorous. So
Yeah.
you come into an experience and it's almost like you have like a built-in icebreaker, because like you see people and you're just like, all right, I like, I'm cracking up at what you're wearing because that's
Exactly.
funny, and it's just like, where'd you get that? Or, oh, you made that? That's, it's awesome. Whereas, okay, if you're going into a work meeting, maybe a photorealistic version of your real self is going to be the most appropriate thing for that. So I think the reality is there aren't going to be it's not just going to be one thing. Um, my own sense of kind of how you want to express identity online has sort of evolved over time, in that, early days in Facebook, I thought, okay, people were going to have one identity. And now I think that's clearly not going to be the case. I think you're going to have all these different things, and there's utility in being able to do different things. So um, some of the technical challenges that I'm really interested in around it are, how do you build the software to allow people to seamlessly go between them? So you could view them as just completely discrete points on a spectrum. But let's talk about the metaverse economy for a second. Let's say I buy a digital shirt for my photorealistic avatar, which, by the way, I think at the time where we're spending a lot of time in the metaverse doing a lot of our work meetings in the metaverse, and et cetera, I would imagine that the economy around virtual clothing, as an example, is going to be quite as big. Why wouldn't I spend almost as much money in investing in my appearance or expression for my photorealistic avatar for meetings as I would for the whatever I'm going to wear in my video chat? But the question is, okay, so let's say you buy some shirt for your photorealistic avatar. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to basically translate that into a more expressive thing for your kind of cartoonish or expressive avatar? And there are multiple ways to do that. You can view them as two discrete points, and okay, maybe, if a designer sells one thing, then it actually comes in a pack and there's two, and you can use either one on that. But I actually think this stuff might exist more as a spectrum in the future.
Mm.
And that's what I do think the direction on some of the AI advances that is happening, to be able to, and especially stuff around like style transfer, being able to take a piece of art or express something and say, okay, paint me, this photo in the style of Gauguin, or whoever it is that you're interested in. Take this shirt and put it in the style of what I've designed for my expressive avatar. I think that's going to be pretty compelling.
And so the fashion, you might be buying like a generator, like a closet that generates a style, and then like with the gowns, they'll be able to infinitely generate outfits, thereby making it. So the reason I wear the same thing all the time is I don't like choice. You've talked about the same thing, but now you don't even have to choose. Your closet generates your outfit for you every time, and so you have to live with the outfit it generates.
I mean, you could do that, although no, I think that's I think some people will, but I think that there's going to be a huge aspect of of just people doing creative commerce here. So I think that there is going to be a big market around people designing digital clothing. But the question is, if you're designing digital clothing, do you need to design? If you're the designer, do you need to make it for each kind of specific, discrete point along a spectrum? Or you are you just designing it for kind of a photorealistic case or an expressive case? Or can you design one and have it translate across these things? If I buy a style from a designer who I care about, and now I'm a dragon, is there a way to morph that so it like goes on the dragon in a way that makes sense? And that I think is an interesting AI problem, because you're probably not going to make it so that that designers have to go design for all those things. But the more useful the digital content is that you buy in a lot of uses, in a lot of use cases, the more that economy will just explode. And that's a lot of what all of the we were joking about NFTs before, but I think a lot of the promise here is that if the digital goods that you buy are not just tied to one platform or one use case, they end up being more valuable, which means that people are more willing and more likely to invest in them, and that just spurs the whole economy.